As much as we love to yell about the games we think are worth checking out, sometimes you just need to try them for yourself. And that's where the huge selection of free demos available on Xbox is an absolute lifesaver. So here are a bunch of amazing titles that you can play right now without spending a single penny, and you can find them all by simply searching on the store. So simple. Epic love stories, magical lands to explore, turn-based battles and characters with names like Zale and Garl, Sea of Stars has all of the makings of a classic RPG. This ode to retro role-playing stars a pair of young heroes who must wield the power of the sun and the moon to help save the world from an evil alchemist. Along the way, they'll make new friends, fight hideous monsters, and get absolutely yeeted into the sky by whoever this is. Rude. The demo itself is under an hour long, but gives you plenty of time to test out its exploration puzzles, its turn-based battles, and how they're a perfect fusion of old and new, as well as arm wrestling battles. The demo gives you plenty of opportunity to get to grips with these mechanics by letting you play through 2 different sections from the early part of the game, letting you battle your way down the side of a mountain before exploring a pirate-filled seaside town. It's the ideal mixture of old and new, and if you like what you see, the full game is available now on Game Pass.
Earlier on this year, a bona fide cult classic called Ghost Trick Phantom Detective came moonwalking back into the realm of the living and made its Xbox debut. This paranormal point-and-clicker has the player using a range of ghostly abilities to solve the mystery behind their own murder. Your poltergeisty powers are impressive, but also a bit limited, turning each case into a brain-scratching puzzle as you hop between different objects until you find a solution that actually works. The demo lets you take on the opening section of the game, where you'll have the chance to save a woman from being murdered if you can figure out the right way to manipulate the things you'll find in a junkyard. Oh, and here's a little hint for you. The solution actually involves the best use of a wrecking ball since Miley Cyrus. As you try to get to the bottom of an increasingly strange case, you'll also have the chance to change the fate of a whole bunch of other characters too, from dancing detectives to chipper Pomeranians. Ghost Trick Phantom Detective always had style, but it looks better than ever in this new HD version, and it's exactly the sort of offbeat, oddball game that free demos were made for, so give it a try. And if you're looking for more places to put your sleuthing skills to the test, here's a list of other banging detective games. L.A. Noire is a detective story ripped straight out of Hollywood. Disco Elysium has you trying to solve the mysteries of life itself. Sam and Max aren't the most conventional gumshoes. Well, they don't even actually wear shoes. Judgment is a cerebral spin-off to the Yakuza series, which skills involve plenty of ass-kicking. And finally, you can't really go wrong with the world's greatest detective and the Arkham series.
One Piece Odyssey arrived in January to celebrate 25 years of action-packed anime, and this free demo is the perfect way to see how a straw hat suits you. The demo takes place at the very start of the game as Luffy sets out on an adventure to get his pirate gang back together after a shipwreck leaves them strewn across a stormy tropical island. You can expect plenty of fights along the way, this is still One Piece after all, but you'll need brains as well as brawn to make it out of these scraps, thanks to the game's cunning turn-based battle system. And the hard-fought battles you win in the demo won't be for nothing either, as your progress can be carried over into the main game.
Just when we thought we'd put it down for good, Resident Evil 4 sprang back into life earlier this year, and that time in the dirt hasn't exactly dulled its appetite in the slightest. With this stunning remake, one of the greatest survival horror games of all time gets a raft of upgrades. Conserving bullets is now a little bit easier thanks to a more fleshed out melee system, which sees Leon delivering roundhouse kicks to undead faces at a rate that would make Buffy the Vampire Slayer proud. And though it might have a very sinister sounding name, the Chainsaw demo is the perfect place to start with Resident Evil 4, as it features a tuned up version of the full game's opening section, which you can play through repeatedly without any time restrictions. Plus, if you're keen on getting into Resident Evil but not really sure where to start, then have no fear. You'll find free demos for a whole bunch of other games in the series too, although have no fear actually might not be totally accurate. Sorry about that. Regardless, you can see what's popping down in Raccoon City with Resident Evils 2 and 3, or follow Ethan Winters as he fights his way through cannibals, werewolves, and one very tall vampire lady in Resident Evil 7 and Village.
Some people have a hard time accepting change, so if you're unsure about how you feel about the Yakuza series swapping sharp suits for samurai gear, why not try this free demo for Like a Dragon Ishin? In this third-person actioner, you'll be jumping back to the 1860s to learn the art of the sword and avenge your master. But while the katana is the star of the show, you'll get to mix it up with a few hand-to-hand moves and even the odd bit of gunplay as you swap between fighting styles on the fly to mesmerize your opponents. And by mesmerize, I do mean punch directly in their big silly faces. And what better place to perfect your face punching skills than with Ishin's combat demo, which won't spoil any of the game's story for you, but will give you loads of opportunities to kick some samurai ass. Naturally, there's lots more to do than mere face punching as well, from side stories that bring all sorts of new characters into the mix, extra missions for you to grow your reputation with, and of course, plenty of opportunities to unwind with a little bit of karaoke.
The absolute granddaddy of survival horror gaming is going to be taking on a terrifying new form next January, and you can get a taste of what's in store with this chilling free demo. The new game centers around a place called Deserto Manor, home to the Hartwood family and perhaps a few other things as well. It's a scary enough place to be when you're playing as a heat-packing adult in the full game, but when you're exploring it as an 11-year-old girl, I mean, we're talking about a whole new level of goosebumps. By toning down the action and making players feel utterly helpless, the prologue provides the perfect introduction to Alone in the Dark's uniquely spooky 1920s setting and the chilling way it mixes Southern Gothic style with psychological horror. And it also sets up the main game's story pretty well, introducing players to Jeremy Hartwood, whose disappearance will lead his niece Emily to return to Deserto Manor along with Detective Edward Carnby. This pair of characters are actually going to serve as the protagonists for the main game, and not only do they both come with beautiful voices provided by Jodie Comer and David Harbour, but they also boast 2 pairs of fully grown-up legs for players to run away on. Nice. Going by the prologue though, that is a feature that we're actually really going to appreciate.
Demos are especially good for games that are a little weirder and more eccentric, like Inkulanati. In this delightfully strange strategy game, the pen is your weapon and a medieval manuscript is your battlefield. Doodle whole armies of loyal beasts into existence and lead them into battle. Each soldier has their own unique skill set for you to take advantage of, from man-eating snails to rabbits with unusual musical talents. Inkulanati is full of fun gags and wacky humor, but don't let your guard down because its tactical combat has been designed to have even hardened strategists racking their brains. Although the best laid plans are known to go up in flames when one of Inkulanati's apocalyptic events is triggered, unleashing raging fires and devastating plagues that can turn the battle in a whole new direction. It's an odd one for sure, but give Inkulanati a try and you're sure to be scribbling away long after the demo is done, which is ideal since the full game is available now on Game Pass.
It kind of goes without saying, but a new Street Fighter game is always a massive event, and this year's entry was no exception. Built exclusively for next-gen hardware, Street Fighter 6 boasts glorious new visuals with 4K Ultra HD and 60 FPS frame rates on the Xbox Series X. I mean, honestly, this game is so pretty that even when you're losing, it's kind of hard not to smile. Naturally though, Street Fighter 6 also features a diverse roster of characters to play as, with iconic fighters like Ryu and Chun-Li facing off against newcomers like the spectacularly ponytailed Jamie and Kimberly, the 80s-obsessed ninja. The new game also boasts full cross-platform multiplayer, so whoever you pick, you're always going to have someone to play against. And when you're rolling solo, the new World Tour mode provides an immersive single-player experience as well. All things considered, this arcade fighter is an absolute knockout, and with this free demo, you can get some practice in before the real fighting begins.
Ghost Runner is a game that takes no prisoners and leaves no room for error, so having the chance to try it for free first is pretty awesome. In this first-person slasher, you'll be bounding across the streets of a neon city, slicing down enemies left, right, and center. While lots of action games are very chill about the whole getting stabbed thing, Ghost Runner is a strictly one-hit kill affair. Your reflexes will need to be as sharp as your sword if you want to make it through any of these beautifully illuminated levels in one piece. And while they say you can't teach an old cyber ninja new tricks, Ghost Runner 2 is set to prove that you actually totally can, when it arrives on October 26th. The sequel adds a whole new set of skills for players to get to grips with, but it also ups the ante on the enemy AI so they can adjust their approach based on the moves you throw at them. This demo gives you the chance to play the Licking Your Wounds story mission and have a chance to experience this incredibly sick gameplay yourself, and find out that it's not the easiest game to perfect. The first game was hardcore and the second looks even hardcorer, so you'd best polish up your skills with this pair of free demos before you try out the real thing.
One of my favourite games in recent memory, Outriders combines third-person shooting and intense co-op action with in-depth RPG mechanics to create something that's dark, deadly, and incredibly fun to play. The game takes place on a planet that was supposed to be humanity's new home, but which has actually turned out to be a nightmarish war zone inhabited by crazed bandits, freakish thunderstorms, and super-powered psychopaths. But you know what? Guess you can't win them all. But what you can do is design your very own super soldier and start fighting back. Combining fast-paced gunplay with a range of spectacular superpowers makes for some of the craziest fights you'll find anywhere on Xbox, especially in co-op. You can get a taste of that chaos now thanks to the free demo. Once you've experienced the thrill of life as a shotgun-toting pyromancer or a sniper who can bend the fabric of space-time, there's just no going back.
While you were sneaking your way through the eerie neighborhoods of Hello Neighbor 1 and 2, devising increasingly complex plans to outwit your annoyingly intelligent AI foes, there's one solution we all overlooked. Why not just build a robot and let it take care of the mustachioed fiend for you? Fortunately, Hello Engineer gives you a chance to correct that mistake. In this multiplayer machine building game, you and your pals will be scavenging scraps from inside a mysterious amusement park, and then using them to build all kinds of bots to take on the neighbor's evil droids. There are no health and safety guidelines to worry about here, so feel free to build the craziest cars and the most ridiculous robots you can come up with. There are no bad ideas, although admittedly there are some ideas that will go very badly. Grab the free demo now to get tinkering, then pick up the full version of Hello Engineer to really let your imagination run wild.
Daymare 1994 Sandcastle is a third-person, story-driven survival horror game that is going to tick all the boxes for fans of games like Dead Space and the Callisto Protocol. Eerie environment to explore? Check. This abandoned military research center is full of hidden puzzles to solve and other nastier surprises to uncover. Naturally, the place is also filled with hideous monsters. Daymare's enemies are aggressive, intelligent, and oh so very ugly. Plus, even after you've killed one of them, there's a chance it'll actually return in an even more frightening new form. And finally, Daymare also gives players a shiny new sci-fi toy to help thin the crowd with. Here you're going to be giving enemies the cold shoulder with your patented frost grip. Basically, if you're a survival horror fan, then this one is sure to fit you like a liquid nitrogen-filled glove, so why not check out the demo right now?
Like I already said, free demos are especially great for games that are a little bit weird, a little bit out there, and a little bit hard to explain. Games that is like Dead Pets Unleashed. This gloriously strange, incredibly punk new title starts a demonic rock band who are looking for their big break. To get them there, you'll need to practice regularly via some truly bizarre minigames, like, why is this man throwing bees at me? Who knows? Of course, even rock stars need to pay their bills, so you'll also need to pick up shifts in the local diner. It can get pretty frantic, but it is a great chance to know the other demonic denizens of this game's wicked world. Between managing your time, balancing the books, and remembering to rock out with sufficient regularity, Dead Pets Unleashed really lets you know how hard it is to make it to the top. So get started now with this free demo. Xbox is your one-stop shop for gaming goodness, and these demos are like those little cheese cubes they sometimes have as free samples, so why not try a few? Bye!